What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we're going to be looking at one of the new strike-specific loot items that will be available in Rise of Iron, and this is actually a sniper rifle, which is the first as far as strike loot is concerned, and we're going to be looking at some gameplay of the weapon in action, and also going over its stats, which are pretty unique and interesting. So all three of the new strikes in Rise of Iron are going to have new legendary strike loot items, being the Wretched Eye, the Summoning Pits remake. In this video, we're going to look at the strike loot from the Devil's Lair remake. So as you probably know, the strike loot is now obtained from horde chests that spawn when the boss is defeated, and these chests are opened with skeleton keys. So those of you that are keen-eyed and paid attention to the end of my Devil's Lair strike gameplay would have seen something pretty interesting drop at the end. Now this is from when I went to Bungie Studios recording gameplay, and I ran the strike with Skill Up and More Console with two other YouTubers. So this is the horde chest actually spawning once we killed the boss, and Skill Up had a skeleton key, so he actually used it on this chest. You can see me next to him with that purple flare cloak, but the loot does take quite a while to drop because it is a test build, and they tend to be a little bit slow at times, but eventually the Devil's Dawn Sniper does actually drop. So first let's take a look at the weapon stats, because they're actually pretty unique, and it's a sniper rifle archetype we haven't seen on legendaries since year 1. So as you might notice, this is actually the really high impact and low rate of fire archetype, which is interesting because they stopped making this altogether in year 2. You might remember the Aphrodite Spear in year 1 was this exact same style, the same rate of fire and impact. But because they stopped making these and stopped dropping in year 2, the 1000 Yard and Longbow archetype became the new highest impact you could get on a legendary. The only ones higher were the Zen Meteor and Black Spindle, which of course are exotics, but in terms of legendaries they didn't exist in year 2. So it's cool to see they're actually returning in year 3, and I'm assuming they're going to be more like this archetype, similar to the Aphrodite Spear. So this is actually interesting because you might remember Bungie has just nerfed the 1000 Yard Stare archetype damage, so they can't one-shot supers anymore. They said they want the Black Spindle archetype to be your main tool to take down supers in one hit reliably, which I initially thought was pretty ridiculous, but now once you think about it, if they're bringing back these Aphrodite Spear style snipers that can one-shot supers, this is actually why they did it, and I guess this was Bungie's goal. These high-impact snipers are what Bungie wants you to use to take down supers in year 3. So those are the stats, and now let's take a look at the perks real quick before we get into the gameplay of it in action. Of course, the perks are randomly rolled, and they're also pretty unique to this weapon. It comes with an intrinsic perk called Disciplinarian, which means bonus damage to all Fallen, which is very interesting. It also doesn't have any scopes, which is even more weird. It's like the Black Spindle and other exotic snipers. It just has barrels instead, so you can't change the scope in this thing. It's fixed all the time to this one, and you only have a choice between the barrels, which are Linear Compensator, Accurized Ballistics, and also a Field Choke. And the perks this one came with are Life Support, Armor Piercing Rounds, Rifle Barrel, Quick Draw, and finally Firefly. So now let's take a look at this weapon in action. Skill Up kindly sent me this gameplay for me to upload and show you guys, so massive thanks to him for letting me use this footage, which nicely shows off the sniper being used. We only had limited time to record certain things, so there isn't much footage, but there's plenty to see how the weapon basically functions. The most notable thing, of course, is the scope. Like I said, it isn't changeable, and it isn't a low zoom one, which is unfortunate. I guess it makes sense because it's supposed to be a Fallen-themed weapon, so slapping on a short gaze on this thing wouldn't really look right to the theme, but it's definitely disappointing this is the only scope. However, it isn't all bad because it doesn't zoom all that much. It is hard to tell the zoom just by looking at it through the gameplay, but it is definitely not a long-range zoom. I'm pretty sure it's around the level of the Hawkeye or the Taxis, which is mid-zoom, which isn't that bad. It's definitely usable in PvP, and this one also came with Quick Draw, which is a really nice addition too. But the scope is decent, it's just not as nice as things like the Short Gaze or the Long View or the Ambush. Another thing about these super high impact snipers that you might notice is of course the magazine. So this thing only comes with 3 bullets, which is always the downside to this archetype. I wonder if you can actually roll casket mag on this thing to bump up to 4 in the mag, and I'm sure you could roll triple tap as well, and if that's the case, it's basically a 5-round magazine, which would be awesome. So if you can get triple tap and casket mag, this could be my new favourite PvE sniper. It would pack a serious punch, and the impact this high against PvE enemies would absolutely shred them. So I'm looking forward to see the perks available on this thing. I really want to see if you can get both triple tap and also casket mag. In terms of its final perk, I would definitely go for my #1 choice as Spray and Play. Outlaw would also be a good choice as well, but Spray and Play is just reloading the weapons so fast. It's an incredible perk for snipers especially, and imagine firing 5 really high impact shots at a boss and then reloading super fast, ready to fire again super quickly. This could be a really decent weapon. So all in all, a pretty interesting strike loot item, and I'm really looking forward to see what the other 2 strike items are from the Summoning Pits and the Wretched Eye. One of my favourite things about Rise of Iron has got to be this new skeleton key system. I think it's a really massive feature for PvE, and it adds so much replayability for anyone who wants to go after these strike loot items and these really good weapons. It's so much better than mindlessly farming Omnigul, for example, for the grass. If you have a skeleton key, just open up the horde chest that will spawn when she dies, you'll be guaranteed a strike loot item, which could be the grass. You've got a very good chance of getting it, but you do also have to remember this could be the Omnigul bond as well, because most bosses do have multiple items that can drop. but I know for a fact that in Rise of Iron, I'm going to spend so much time farming for skeleton keys from strikes, and also I'm going to use them all on the Imago Loop chest. There's nothing I want more in Destiny right now than a Year 3 Fatebringer. That's my number one thing, my number one goal right now. And comment down below what you can be chasing from these skeleton keys. I'll be interested to see what you're after. So a massive thanks to SkillUp once again for sharing with me his footage. You'll find a link to his channel in the description of this video. He makes really high quality videos, so definitely worth checking out. And also, if you want to see the full gameplay of the remade Devil's Lair Strike, that video will be linked in the description as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A like rating would be awesome, and I really do appreciate all the support on my videos. Rise of Iron is not long away now, so I've got some awesome content lined up for you guys on day one, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.